Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. This is FC with CapRaceDirect.com here to bring you guys your first look preview for UFC 288. We have a lot of my good friends fighting on this card. But before we get into that, guys, let's get into the recap, guys. We are killing it in all sports. I told you guys in March, you guys already know, I went on like a crazy run, a stupid run, like 34-4 in April. I ended up hitting like 28-2, something crazy, something stupid. I'm telling you guys, I am killing it in all sports. But currently, we are looking at the past UFC event, guys. The past UFC event, we had a winning card and another winning max fight pick, guys. Guys, just to go over some of the things, we won't go over everything because it'll take forever. And you guys already bought the write-up. But we had a couple fights do not go to decision. We had a fight does not go to decision in a female fight with Stephanie Edgar at -105. That hit. Our max fight pick, guys, let's talk about it. We had Martin Boudet. I know a lot of people hit me up in messages and also texted me and hit me up in email even and was like, come on, man. Like heavyweight, like this kind of heavyweight, this sloppy heavyweight stuff, but we had something coming into there. Now, I know you guys were sweating Martin Boudet. I told you guys, don't worry. All right, this is what we knew about this fight, right? Martin Boudet had to endure round one. We knew that was coming in. He was very durable. We knew coming in round one, and then he could take over round two, round three. Now, that's a very hard thing to tell people ahead of time because the second people put in a bet, they're like extraordinarily excited. Like, here we go. We're going to win. And then they see our guy getting rocked in round one. They're like, I mean, I don't know how many texts I got, but I texted everyone back. Every one of you guys, I texted back and I emailed everyone back and was like, don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. First round comes about. Martin Boudet doesn't get whooped, but we know that Jake Collier in round one is a beast. And we knew coming in, Jake Collier only had one round of gas in him, right? Talking to Jake Collier, admittedly, one round of gas. After that, he'll make do. He'll figure it out, right? He doesn't expect it to last that long. And see, that's where the sweating component comes into betting and that's why nothing is a guarantee, right? Nothing is a lock per se. We get as close as possible with our intel and our information. And in this fight specifically, we made sure that Jake Collier, how many rounds do you have in you? What are you looking like? What's your cardio looking like? Now, that first round, sweaty, right? Martin Boudet got hit a bunch. He got rocked. There were a couple moments there where I know a lot of people were texting me. It was like, should we go ahead and take Jake Collier on the money line? And I was like, no, just wait for round two, wait for round three. If you guys want to take anybody on the money line right now, take Martin Boudet on the money line. Because if we can get to round two, round three, it's done. We win this fight. We just got to get there. The seconds keep ticking away. And then Martin Boudet does a little something, and he hits Jake a little hard, and I'm like, oh no, this is good for us. This is good. Come round two, take over. I mean, it's over. I mean, Jake's just done. He just can't breathe anymore. He's trying his best, and we knew coming in that he would still be there in round two, but we just needed Martin Boudet to stay tough in round one, stay durable, and then get to round two, and then apply his game plan. Now, the thing that we didn't take into effect, and the thing that sort of made me a little nervous was in round three, Martin Boudet was tired. Martin Boudet sometimes he does get tired, but I came into this camp thinking he can go 3 rounds. Like, he put in a lot of work for this camp. He's a big boy. I thought he can go 3 rounds. Come round three, I'm like, ooh, we are huffing and puffing. Way more than I anticipated. So it wasn't necessarily the most easy thing ever. I mean, we win 2 out of 3 rounds, but that was a max fight pick, guys. Best intel ever on the card. We didn't care. We locked it in. -125, not too bad, right? We hit our underdog lean +135. And in that fight, I said, just fight doesn't go to decision. Also a good bet. Put it out there. I mean, the fight didn't go to decision. He knocked him out in the first round. And then we had Caio Baralho. A lot of people did not see this coming. Well, there's some people that saw it coming because in the video I told you I favor Caio inside the distance. And so that's sort of the indication that you got from the video. But when you went ahead and you looked at it, I actually put it out there as a bet. It was -130. Not a lot of people like paying for juice when they come up with an outcome. I knew the specific outcome that was going to happen, but you got to understand with these fighters and with Caio especially, he gets on top of you. Michal was working on submission defenses. So if he could fight that off, but then Caio sitting there just pop, that would have been a ground and pound. We wouldn't have gotten a ticket cash for us if that was the ground and pound and we ended up getting the submission. We ended up putting the money on bet on him getting the submission. So what do? We just said inside this at -130, guys. Look, I was so confident in this, but I knew when you retake these props, you don't want this minus 130. You want really good plus money because you're prognosticating on something very, very specific happening. This guy by submission, we want big numbers, right? This guy by submission in round 1, we want huge numbers for that. We don't want to pay minus 130, but it didn't matter, guys. I was so confident in it, put it out there minus 130. And I mean, it was a good night overall. I mean, the card was a winner. The max fight pick was a winner. I know you guys sweat it for a minute, but that's what it's all about, guys. Another max fight pick winner, another card. I know I sound like a broken record, but I can't help it. I mean, it's what we do, right? We're super talented here. Not only are we talented, we have the best information. It's like it's like we're cheating the books, man. I'm telling you right here. All right, but let's get into this humongous event, guys. I have a lot of friends on this card, so the write-ups are going to be they're going to have some of that detail in them, but I don't want to necessarily out anyone or do anything crazy or say anything crazy. So let's look over the main card for this UFC 288 right now. All right, so let's get into your main event. We have Aljamain Sterling versus a good friend of mine, Henry Cejudo. Actually, both these guys are pretty good friends of mine. I've stayed with Aljo Sterling, and there's a ton of history with Henry Cejudo. But let's go into Aljamain Sterling. The guy's 22-3. I know him very well. You see that 3 behind there? I've represented some fighters that are in that 3 category that have actually beaten Aljamain Sterling. But Aljamain is a tough test. He's got height. He's got 5 inches of reach in here. Look, guys. Henry Cejudo's a small guy. I mean, a really small guy. Aljamain Sterling's a little guy too, but he's going to have the height and reach. It's going to be significant when we come to the reach. I'm thinking 5. Currently, you can see it. It's about 5 inches. I'm thinking it's about 5.5 inches. I mean, the reach is significant. And if you look at the body of work of Aljamain Sterling, the kid isn't bad. The guy is very, very good. He's very cocky, okay? And that cockiness does come out and present itself as this, you just want to beat those guys down. You want those guys to lose. Aljamain Sterling doesn't have the most fans, especially after what he did with Peter Yan. And really, a lot of people were rooting for Aljo to lose. Now, I like Aljo. I think he's a great guy. I think he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't even know about. He's not as shady. And now, he's very confident. That's who he is as a person. If you guys haven't met a real athlete, I'm talking about a legitimate athlete, a Michael Jordan, a person who is on that level, you guys won't understand, like, cockiness and you won't understand a certain level of this aura that they have about him, and Aljo walks around with it and really embodies it. Like, he likes that feeling, and he wants to he wants to perpetuate that feeling. He wants to continue it. So he throws confidence out there, and a lot of people look at that and they want him to fail. They want him to lose. And so here comes Henry Cejudo. Now, Henry Cejudo has been on a major layoff, guys, for 3 years. Now, I know what he's been doing for 3 years. You don't know what he's been doing for 3 years, and not a lot of people do know what he's been doing for 3 years. He's done a lot of stuff. He's helped a lot of different fighters. He's been a part of different fighters' camps. He's traveled a lot. He's trained at different facilities, but he's not the youthful, spry individual he once was. He's 36 years old, guys. I mean, 36 years old, he's accomplished a lot. Now, with a lot of accomplishment also comes wear and tear that not a lot of people are seeing. We talked about it before when it comes to Max Holloway and John Jones. Like, those guys are goats. Those guys are established individuals in the UFC. But over time, stuff, their bodies do break down. It's like, you can't kill Father Time. Now, Henry Cejudo, again, 36 years old. Aljamain's 33, but he's kind of a younger 33. He hasn't really taken a lot of damage. If you look at Aljo's style, he's one of these people that like to minimize as much risk as possible. That's why he shoots for takedowns and does certain things there. Look, Henry Cejudo, he's physically there. Okay, guys? I'm going to tell you guys right now, for the past 2 months in training, he's there. He's doing work. He's doing well. He looks like the old Henry Cejudo. So what are the things that we have to look at for Henry? And it comes down to 2 things. It's physical and mental. One, is his mental going to be there? He knows he's older. Trust me, he knows he's older. He also knows that these young guys that he's been training with and training and coaching up, yeah, they're on a new level. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got that testosterone in them. Like, they got that new kind of juice. Like, I don't know what their moms be raising them on, but damn, like, these kids can do some work nowadays. And so I think Henry, he's got to mentally know that he is as good or better than Aljo, and he's coming in here telling himself all the right things, coaching himself up. He has a mental coach or his coach is kind of a mental coach, kind of helps him out there. And so I don't expect the mentality to be wrong there. I'm worried about the physical side of Henry Cejudo. I'm worried about the body work that Aljo's planning to establish. A lot of body shots, a lot of kicks to the body. Man, I don't know. Henry Cejudo doesn't really spar like that in the gym. And man, I've always thought Henry was a little bit softer to the body. He's worked on things like that, but is that something you could really work on? I don't know. The kid's 16-2. He's great. He's good in the gym. He works people. He is of a certain talent level. That talent level that when you go into a gym, you know that's the dude. Like, he drops it on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, Henry Cejudo is good. He's amazing. But he is getting older. He does look a tiny bit slower. I'm not gonna lie to you. Looks a little bit like lost. And 3 years is a long time. Father Time doesn't pass anyone by. He gets you. He gets you. It doesn't matter. So it comes down to whether or not Henry Cejudo's body is going to hold up. And now you're not going to know those things until you're either this week, because it starts to really break down as you put it through the rigors of weight cuts and all the things that you do mentally. I mean, there's a lot of things that break down your body this week. So we can find out this week if on Friday night, if Henry Cejudo is 100% or close to it, or the closest that I've seen Henry to be 100%. Because if he is, man, you have to favor Henry Cejudo's and his inability to be taken down. Like, the kid is good. But again, you're looking at old breed versus new breed. You're looking at the old breed. You're looking at the GSP, looking at the division, being like, I dominated you, and I can do it again. So I'm just going to come back and do it. Guys, it's not that easy. Like, it's not as easy as these people think. So Henry Cejudo has a good game plan. I'm going to let you guys know now. Really great game plan. Really good camp with him. Very great training with him. Aljo also has a really good game plan. His game plan is the reason why we're going with Henry Cejudo is not because he's a good friend of mine, but because last time I went against Henry Cejudo and paid for it. But Aljamain Sterling, man, there's something about him that, man, I don't know. It's like the kid is good. Like, the kid in the gym does some crazy stuff, can hit some crazy submissions, and there's a certain sense that you don't believe he's going to do great, and then he just exceeds it. And so even though Henry Cejudo is all these great things, Aljamain Sterling is a newer breed of athlete, and he may just be a tick past the age that Henry Cejudo is like can dominate. You know what I mean? So I do expect this to be a close fight. In the end, though, I do favor Henry Cejudo slightly, but this week it's gonna tell me a lot. It's gonna tell me a lot because Aljo in training has looked good. Aljo in training does some stupid stuff that you're like, dang, like, why isn't this? I mean, there was a time where I remember watching Aljo train and I was like, why isn't this dude champ? This was before, because he was just so good. And under the bright lights, though, he ends up gassing and he makes mistakes and he gets too cocky. So those are things he's working on. So I favor Henry Cejudo slightly, and I think it's going to be a very close match. I think it's going to be really close, unless, you know, like in Bellator when Rafael Stotts versus Patchy Mix, that was a close fight until Patchy Mix hit him with a knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, something may end up happening where it ends this fight for the other individual. But if this fight goes the distance, I don't expect someone to just dominate the other person. If they're both of them look like they have great gas tanks now, and those things, one punch to the gut a certain way can zap a gas tank that is really, really good. So anything can happen in a fight. But as of right now, you're asking me who I think is going to win. Man, I think Henry Cejudo has the edge this week, but you guys are going to tune into that right up on Friday, in which I'm going to detail out exactly how this week has been, and I'll let you know more about the camps, but let's get into your next fight. All right, guys, let's get into your co-main event. Now, this co-main event's a little bit different, guys. This co-main event is scheduled for 5 rounds. We have Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. This isn't for a title, but let's look at Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad is on a roll. He's in peak. Well, let's just be careful what we say here, right? He's in peak physical condition. What I mean by that is this is his best. This is as good as it gets for Belal, I believe, physically. He's strong. He's powerful. He's training with the right people. Now, recently, we've seen Belal Muhammad take this peak physicality that he was able to achieve and then apply the mental side of it. Really peak mentally. Really come up with game plans. Really shock a few people with a few wins that not a lot of people expected him to come through with. But he really did. He proved himself to be extraordinarily durable. He's very, very smart. Comes from a background like I do. From a legal background like I do. So very, very intelligent. But Guys, you have to understand something about Bilal Muhammad. Extraordinarily religious, really very, very, very religious, right? He's coming off of a fasting. He's coming off of a very religious thing and a big thing that he did. This isn't the most ideal situation coming in, but Bilal has this way of not making excuses. Like, Bilal has a way of taking these moments where things like Ramadan will happen, and he'll be right in like close to Ramadan, and he'll fight and dominate. Like, there are a lot of he does these things, like he forces himself, and he's got it kind of down, the whole religious aspect of it, to where like he's usually pretty good. But I'm letting you guys know right now, this 5-round fight wasn't all ideal for Bilal Muhammad. Now, coming into it though, Bilal Muhammad knows a few things about Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns just fought like 3 weeks ago, literally 3 weeks ago. Now, granted, it was an easy fight in which we had Gilbert Burns. Obviously, everybody did, but Gilbert Burns, I mean, he's an amazing grappler. The thing about Gilbert Burns is he's extraordinarily powerful. Early on, he will hit you, and he does stay careful because he's not the most durable person. He is a person that can be flashed, can be KO'd, can be finished. He's another person that doesn't have the best gas tank. He's a fighter that you wouldn't expect this fight to end because Bilal's so tough and Gilbert is so good. And Gilbert's gone on up against some extraordinarily tough guys, right? And lasted. But Gilbert has a gas problem, in my opinion. And then he just fought 3 weeks ago. Like, come on, like this is a lot on Gilbert. So this is a crapshoot of a fight, guys. I personally favor Bilal Muhammad currently slightly. Now, that whole Ramadan, that whole fasting, the whole him wanting this at a higher weight but getting it at 170 does worry me a lot. So I'm just going to stay away from this fight. But one thing that does intrigue me is this under 4.5 where fight doesn't go to decision. If you can get it at plus money, I know that Bilal Muhammad isn't known for a person that knocks people out, isn't known for a finisher, right? We know Gilbert Burns can knock people out. We know Gilbert Burns can submit people. So we already have one fighter that is pretty good when it comes down to finishes, right? And then we have another fighter who usually goes to decision, takes people to boring decisions. But when you have a gasser across from you like Gilbert Burns, someone that in the 4th round may not be ready for that 4th round, or somebody that in the 5th round is going to be really, really tired, that's if he didn't get you out before or you didn't get him out before, man, I've seen Gilbert Burns break in fights when he's been extraordinarily tired. Now, he's coming in here pretty in shape, but like, again, guys, he just fought 3 weeks ago. Like, how in shape can you be? How you can be in the best shape possible and still struggle this weekend. You could be the GOAT and still struggle this weekend because there's a lot of things going into it. A lot of travel, not a lot of rest, you don't really have the best training. You know, there's a lot of things there that Gilbert Burns is going to have to fight off. But if Bilal can get out of the early rounds with Gilbert Burns, round 2, round 3, if he can fight off the takedowns, I would feel very good about a Bilal Muhammad ticket. I would feel really good after the first round. He's shunned off some takedowns. You already know his gas tank is on point. It's going to be there. It's going to be good. He will be able to shuck off takedowns in round 1 and in round 5. He's not one of these people that just die in round 5. Now, he will be hurting. He will be gassing like in his own way. But, man, that meter, that gas meter on Bilal Muhammad's tank is bigger than that of Gilbert Burns. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be looking at Gilbert Burns because Gilbert Burns is the side that could land that early knockout. I mean, Bilal Muhammad is durable, but he has been knocked out when he doesn't see a shot coming, when shots are as powerful as Gilbert Burns can put off. So, guys, this is going to be a wild fight. I currently favor Bilal Muhammad, but again, guys, things are not ideal on his side. They're not perfect. I'm going to find out this week how he's doing, what happened in his camp. I'm going to find out if Gilbert Burns is on point, but you guys are going to tune into that right up on Friday. But let's get into that next fight. All right, so let's get into your next bout. We have Jessica Andrade versus Shannon. Let's look at Jessica first. Jessica Andrade's going to be the smaller girl, guys. We faded Jessica big time last time, guys. It was one of the biggest max fight picks like in a very, very long time against a prospect, right? There's not a lot of love lost for me and Jessica Andrade. I've bet against Jessica Andrade. I've bet on her. She's dominated. I've won a ton of money against her. Jessica Andrade, when she has her head on right, she's very, very tough. She can be durable, but man, I've seen her rocked in the gym and make stupid decisions in fights that have cost her fights. So when those fights have cost her, it's very easy for me to see those holes every single time I see her fight. Now, opponents don't necessarily take advantage of those holes. Yes, 1 and 2, she's been closing them, right? She's been getting better, but it was just going to be too much last time. Now, if I had to assess Jessica Andrade, she is a well-rounded, powerful MMA fighter. When I say powerful, she has powerful strikes. She strikes from the hip. Wow, wow, wow. And really has this idea that if she lands first, she's going to knock you out. There's no way you're going to knock her out if she lands first, right? She's going to put you down. So when girls stand in front of her and she hits them and they don't fall down, there can be a little bit of a reaction from Jessica of like, oh, dang. Like, this isn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. But she comes out, she swings big, she usually gets it done, but those holes are still there. So I see them. Now, in talking to Jessica Andrade, she's looking at getting this to the ground and pinning this girl down and just crucifixing the hell out of her and just pow, 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 elbow, 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 punch, punch. That's her plan. Like, that's her eventual finish in this fight. She can knock her out on the feet. She does believe she can, and she believes she's going to get that crucifix. But again, there's so many red flags on Jessica Andrade's side. On top of it, the number on Jessica Andrade should probably be larger. The number on Jessica Andrade should be well over, probably in this climate with her name recognition, maybe like minus 200 and above. I would say minus 250, even closer to like minus 300, because she's fighting a girl who can be taken down. Now, Jan, let's talk about Jan now. Jan has a height and reach advantage. She's a striker, but she can be taken down. Now, when Jan was extraordinarily like focused on just takedowns, she upped her game. She has looked better. So I can see this number being people being like, Jan, I guess Jessica Andrade, someone who's not as durable, a smaller girl. Let's take the shot, right? I can see it. I actually favor Jan only because of the holes that I've seen from Jessica Andrade. Now, that is a biased favoring. I'm letting you guys know now based off of the stuff coming in. Jan, to me, is the value, because I do see her being able to shuck off takedowns. And there's something about Jan striking that's just crisp. It's clean. It's down the center, and it's pop, pop, pop. And the girl hits very, very hard. I like her. The thing is that she can be dominated on the ground, and Jessica Andrade is starting to wise up, is starting to be smarter. So she's coming in with a game plan finally of, I'm going to take this girl down, I'm going to dominate, I'm going to be like a champion. Her last fight, she came in on short notice. We knew that coming in. We went the other way. The girl was plus money at the time when I wanted to put her out as the max fight pick. I think she ended up evening it out or making it like minus 105 or something. It was Erin Blanchfield, obviously. So we knew... And we knew that coming in, so that's why we faded her. Man, I'm just worried that this number is based off of that fade, that recency bias, because this number probably should be larger, and I do favor Jan slightly in a very close fight. Dude, Jessica Andrade can come out here and dominate Jan. Jan can be taken down, and see, because Jessica has that thought process. The only thing is I just don't know with Jan leveling herself up in the takedown defense for a prior fight, if that's going to creep in here and then stop Jessica Andrade from being able to take people down. There are fighters out there that when they fight somebody that's an exclusive like takedown artist, right, they put in the work and then they look great. But then the next camp, they sort of let that go. You know, all that dumbass, all that dumb talk that people are like, I fell in love with grappling again. Yeah, right. Yeah. Wait till next camp when you get dominated on the ground because you didn't train a lick of wrestling or lick grappling, all that you fell in love with before. Yeah. Where is that now, right? There's some people that really fall in love with it, but is Jan going to be one of those people? I don't expect it. She did train some wrestling. She did train some takedown defense in this camp, but she really focused in on staying technical and hitting straight shots, because in the end, Jan is looking for a knockout. She thinks she can either knock Jessica out, but it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. So as of right now, I favor Jan. I wanted to be a bigger plus money. I expected Jessica Andrade to get more recognition, name recognition, more of a shine here. She's not. But guys, you're gonna want to tune in on Friday to find out that write-up, because I'm gonna find out some stuff this week. Usually the week of is when we find out some of the bigger information, because these camps are public to a lot of different people. And I'm privy to a certain level of information that not a lot of people are privy to. And so I take that and we assess and we do things. And that's why we've been winning like I mean, guys, I know you guys are tired of hearing the broken record of another max fight pick winner, another card just wins. That's what we do, right? We win. Sometimes we lose one. Sometimes we drop one. Sometimes it happens. But guys, the best information ever. And right now, currently, I like Jan, but you're going to want to find out on Friday exactly how to bet this fight. In the write-up, the conclusion, you're going to want to find out, because I have a sneaky suspicion there's already some things in the works that I need to find out about this fight in order to make an assessment in order to provide you with the best information for this fight. There's really two pieces of information, but I think I got one last night, and I think I'm going to get another one this week. So we're going to find out this week exactly how to go on this, but I do favor Jan slightly. Let's get into your last fight of the main card. All right, guys, so let's get into your last fight on this main card. I know it's almost over. You guys regret it. I know. We have Movsar Evloev versus Bryce Mitchell. Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell. Good friend of mine. I love Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell's 15-1. We did fade him in that last fight because he wasn't coming in with the most optimal situation. He was pretty sick. Now, I have seen Bryce Mitchell sick before and overcome in fights, but every time there's something that happens to a fighter mentally, and there was a turn in Bryce Mitchell that I saw within the week of the fight where he started to become a little more nervous about what was going on with him, and his mind wasn't fully on it. Now, he was saying all the right things and he was pushing himself and he was doing all the right stuff, but man, he was dealing with some stuff that last camp. So yeah, Bryce Mitchell didn't do well that last fight. And so I think a lot of people are discounting him because he got outworked by a guy who Evloev was scheduled to fight, and there's a lot of beef behind that fight. So some beef, maybe you guys know about it, maybe you don't, but Evloev, he sees himself as better than Ilia Topuria, a guy who just beat Bryce Mitchell. So Movsar Evloev is looking to come out here and dominate. He's 16-0. I love this kid, but he's extraordinarily hittable. He's been working on his hands, and sometimes I wonder if he's working on it too much, right? Because he's so good at that grappling, that wrestling side. Like when I think of a Russian wrestler, right, I think of Khabib. But then I start thinking further about like really great Russian wrestlers who are in the UFC, and Movsar Evloev is one of them. He is one of the great wrestlers. And so, but the problem is like sometimes in his training, he's been striking way too much. He trained with Peter Yan recently. I have footage, and it's just, man, it's like all striking. And it's like, what are you doing? And then you see Peter Yan being taken down by some people, and you're like, then you wonder, like, you start putting the puzzle pieces together, and you start talking to Evloev, and he's talking about knocking people out, and he knows he has power in his hands, and his hands are so good. We don't know. You don't realize how good they are, and you don't realize who he's training with. He's now starting to believe the hype a little bit. So you got to wonder. You got to wonder if he's starting to really look past Bryce Mitchell, and that would be a mistake. Now, I do favor Evloev. I'll just be honest with you guys. I favor Evloev big time. I do favor him to be like a minus 150 favorite, minus 160, probably minus 200. Probably minus 200. Come on. Probably minus 200. But, guys, Bryce Mitchell is good. Like, Thug Nasty isn't bad. He's very good on the ground. Now, he's got his own style, so he's not as, you know, A, B, C equals D submission. He's more like, let me get to Z and let me zing it around D and let me go around to F and let me E. Guess what? Twister, you're submitted. Like he goes about it a different way, but the kid is good. He's very intelligent for for what he is. Really smart. You talk to him, he has a country accent. Yeah, Arkansas boy through and through, really good dude, shooting squirrels in the backyard. If you ever live with him, be ready to wake up. If for some crazy reason you hear raccoons, I wouldn't be surprised if I heard Bryce Mitchell playing with the raccoons in the back. Like, he's just different. He's a different animal. He goes and hunts differently. I mean, he fishes differently. He does a lot of stuff differently. He does it his own way, and it works for him. So I see Bryce Mitchell being out here, and he's not going to give up. He's going to be tough. He may end up doing really well in the striking, and when it comes down to takedowns, he can be taken down. He can get takedowns himself. Movsar Evloev can be taken down, guys. He has been taken down before. Now, there were kind of surprise takedowns, things he wasn't expecting. He's expecting to be taken down here, or at least attempted to. But guys, Bryce Mitchell has a chance to win this fight. He really does. He looks pretty good. And Bryce Mitchell is now keeping a lot of stuff to the hip. He's not talking about issues with his camp as much with certain people. So there could be an element that Bryce Mitchell is still hiding something there. But 100%, if both fighters come in pretty good, this fight could be a lot closer than a minus 300 that Evloev is. He may still dominate. He may still win. He may dominate on a level that's like, hey man, like you might have been minus like 165, 200, minus 200, but dang, minus 300, that was a close fight. Like, that was a close fight. So Bryce Mitchell's going to be there. I expect him to be durable. I don't expect Evloev to be able to finish him. If he catches him, that's one thing. But, man, I expect Bryce Mitchell to actually do okay. Not like when he fought Ilya Taporia. Different circumstances. And I think a lot of people are looking at Evloev and being like, that's just a lock. That's a guarantee. I see that. I do favor Evloev, but I'm not so stupid as to just look at Bryce Mitchell and say, whatever, easy win. Just chalk it up as a W already, right? Don't be that dumb. And Evloev isn't that dumb, but he is very cocky, and he is getting cockier by the day. Like, he hasn't fought in like a year, and he's still talking like he's the best ever. So, I mean, but you're going to want to tune in that write-up. I'm going to find out this week what's going on with Bryce. I'm going to find out if Evloev was ready for this fight, because I have a sneaky suspicion that while he's been training and certain things, that he's not 100% for this fight. So we're going to find out, but that's going to be your breakdown of the main event for UFC 288 that goes down on May 6th. Now, if you guys like this kind of content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that post notifications button. Also, in the comments down below, hit me with a UFC. Hit me with a UFC, and then hit me with your favorite fighter that's going to be on this card. I'd like to know who's people's favorite fighter is, because maybe next time I'll let you know a little bit more about them. Things you don't know about, things you want to know about. Maybe what's their favorite color? What's their favorite flavor of ice cream? You'd be surprised how many is vanilla out there. Literally, they will look at you and be like, vanilla. You'd be like, yeah, I knew by your fighting style you love vanilla. But there's some people that will shock you. So let me know who your favorite fighter is, guys. And just know, guys, know that we have been killing it, and we're going to continue to kill it. We're going to continue to kill it in all sports, but on top of it, we're going to kill it in the UFC, because on May 6th, guys, UFC 288 goes down, and I promise you, it's going to be a great day to win, baby. Let's get it.